Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 134. Andrew Eisen here. Tired, but at least I do get to weekend this weekend, so that's nice. Right around 5 o'clock this afternoon, I was playing Danganronpa 3, and I was about to crash. I had to take a quick power nap because I was just time card had 121 hours on it, some ridiculous thing. Um, but hopefully that's in the past. Get some sleep this weekend, play some video games. Hadn't I looked at the last save file? It was, I think, February 4th was the last time I played a video game. Might see a movie tomorrow. Want to go see Lego Movie 2. Um, Also, wouldn't mind seeing Battle Angel Alita. Or, no, they call it Alita Battle Angel, right? Why? I don't know. Yes, I've read the manga. Yes, I've seen the cartoon. Yes, I remember enjoying them both, but it was a long time ago, so the specifics are kind of vague now, but I do remember liking it. Um, so did I start the show? I started the show, right? Yeah, okay. So started the show. Zachary's not here tonight. He won't be home till late, so we're gonna solo it today. So last week I mentioned I was applying for a job posting at GameSpot. They were looking for a new video host and writer. I said, "Oh, hey, I can do that." And I had this great idea. I'm like, "Oh, instead of a cover letter, I'll make a video introducing, pitching myself." And then work happened, and it rolled around to about Wednesday, and I thought I had enough of a script to at least do a test shoot to see how it was playing, and then maybe do some revisions and reshoot it. And then it started raining hard, and the wind was howling like, that kind of just howling wind. I'm like, okay, Mother Nature, I get it. Um, and I thought, by the time I get this done, they'll have filled the position. So I foregoed the video and went back to the typical cover letter. And I heard back from GameSpot within 24 hours. So the following, I think I applied at like 12:30 at night is when I got that done. Because I also made a Valentine's Day video. And Jack, no, I just started. You haven't missed anything. So I heard back from them the following evening, and they said no. And that's disappointing, but I certainly do appreciate them taking the time to let me know, and quickly, because it's like, oh, well, that's a bummer, but at least I know. Move on. Um, not every job you apply for extends you that courtesy. So, dee 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 dee. Aw, thank you, Jordan. Um, Apex Legends now surpasses Fortnite by 157 million. Wow, that's impressive considering Apex Legends just came out of nowhere. Um, there was a game has a storied developer behind it, but it was just kind of dumped. I don't think who's behind Apex Legends. I forget. It's isn't that Bungie who's doing that? And someone told me in the chat. It's I think it's Bungie's the developer, and who's publishing it. Suzanne says, "Keep looking, you'll find something." Oh, I'm sorry, Respawn, the Titanfall, right? Yeah. Right. So, yeah. I think that's Titanfall, right? Respawn did Titanfall, didn't they? Publishers EA. Okay, so yeah. Um, I looked at it, when I first heard about it, because it just came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, a free-to-play character-based multiplayer shooter. Well, unless that thing does something unique, that's going to die on the vine because we already got those. But apparently, it's doing something. Yes, Titanfall devs. Good, I got something right. Thank goodness. Um, Jack says, from context clues, I'm guessing you're looking for a new job. Not actively. I keep my eye out, and if I see something I'd like to do, I apply. That's I'm comfortable where I am. I have the job I'm in right now is certainly a lot more secure than that GameSpot job would have been. I was a little nervous about it because they said right up front that it was a 6-month contract to start, and I'm thinking, do I, what if I got the job and I had to move to San Francisco and then they didn't renew my contract after 6 months? Would I be able to come back to my old job? Would I have to start from scratch? That's some scary stuff, but um, it doesn't matter because I didn't get the job. So that's okay though. I don't take it personally. You can never do that. Why didn't I get the job? Who the hell knows? Uh, maybe they thought my work sucked. That's always possible. Maybe they were just looking for something different. Maybe they were looking for something local. Sometimes what happens is, and I don't say this to begrudge any company that does this. Sometimes they know who they want to hire, but they have to do kind of a cattle call for various reasons. I've been in that situation before. Um, but it's okay. Hopefully, they get an awesome new video host over at GameSpot. Um, Matthew says Battle Royale is a hot genre right now, and Nintendo just made Tetris Battle Royale. Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching the Nintendo Direct. I was like, oh, so that Battle Royale just with Tetris. Tetris, one of the most popular games ever. Well, because it's just really easy to understand, everyone can play Tetris. And Battle Royale, which is the new hotness of the past couple of years. If they get, I downloaded it. I haven't tried it. I have a sneaky suspicion I won't be able to because I don't have a Nintendo Online account. Which, if that's the case, Nintendo, don't let me waste time downloading things that I can't play if I don't have a damn account. You jerk. Um, but if they, I think they need to do more than just you're playing Tetris with 98 other people. Um, then wait, is it? Yeah, because it'd be 99 because it's 7x7 grid on both sides. So 49, 98, you're the 99th. Okay. Um, I was wondering why not an even 100. I was thinking that's because for symmetry reasons. Um, I'm wondering if the full game will have more to it, more modes and stuff, but we'll see. So, whatever my current job is, it's a lot safer than having to work security at an EDM festival. I am a quality assurance analyst for a technology company. Um, Not video games, but we make our own proprietary hardware and software, and I uh, play with it and figure out how it's broken and tell the developers everything they did wrong. Um, they love me. I'm very popular. So that's what I do. It's a fine job. I'm tired because we've just had like 4 things to release in the span of 2 weeks, and I had to test all of them. And then an emergency thing happened, which wasn't my fault because we didn't get any user acceptance testing done. Um, we have a software that runs 2,000 other individual client softwares. It is literally impossible for me to test all of them. So you have a list of your top 20 accounts and you do what you can, and then UAT, which is a select group of our field employees, um, pick up the rest, and we get as much coverage as we can. But due to business saying it must be out on the 7th or whatever. It was like, okay, it's in UAT. Okay, now release it to production. It's like, okay. And then Saturday rolls around and they're like, Tai Hendayo. There's a huge problem. Yeah, you think? So so that's been my life for the last couple of weeks. So let's cover a couple news stories from the week before we get into the Nintendo Direct, whatever. So Activision Blizzard announced, let me make sure I get the quote right. CEO Bobby Kotick, not really sure how his name is pronounced, but he says our financial results for 2018 were the best in our history. And that's saying something because Activision's been around for a long time, making lots and lots and lots and lots of money. And for them to have, let me just make sure I get this right, financial results that were the best in their history is pretty damn good. And they laid off 800 people. Because, let me make sure I get the quote, we didn't realize our full potential. So we had, again, just to make sure I got this right, the best financial results in our history, but we didn't reach our full potential. So, in other words, we made ungodly amounts of money, the likes of which we've never seen. Oh my God, we could do better. So, let's fire 800 people. Now, I don't run a business, so don't listen to anything I say, but hey, it's my podcast, so if I want to opine on things I know nothing about, I may do just that. So here we go. Methinks if you make more money than you've ever made before in a history of making ungodly amounts of money, and you still think you have to make serious cutbacks to the tune of, I think it ended up being like 8% of their workforce, 800 people, I think you're businessing wrong. I think you suck at what you do, Bobby Kotick. I think Activision should get rid of you and all of the other upper management. And you might say, well, Andrew, if you're so concerned about the 800 people who lost their jobs, aren't you concerned about poor Bobby? I mean, you're advocating he should lose his job too. Yeah, but again, I know nothing, but I'm pretty sure Bobby Kotick is going to be fine if he lost his CEO ship at Activision. I think he'd land on his feet after sailing gently to the ground on a golden parachute. The 800 employees that they got rid of, which are probably, producers and developers and custodial staff and all kinds of different people, probably going to have it rougher than Bobby Kotick would. That's just my guess. This is not my field of expertise. I don't work there. Maybe I know nothing. But I do know that Activision posted really nice financial results for 2018 and didn't fire 800 people. So it can be done if you believe in the heart of the cards. Or if you are the, since sadly passed, Iwata, who said, you know what? We didn't realize our full potential this year. So I'm taking a pay cut so we don't fire a bunch of people. Satoru Iwata. Fun video host, and also just seemed to be a genuinely good guy. Bobby Kotick? I don't know him personally, but I haven't seen anything that gives me any sense that he's a genuinely good guy. So, let me now rant over. I'm done ranting about things I know nothing about. So let me Let me see what the chat has been saying. Do 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 do. Um, Jack says yes, yes. Uh, Translation: we didn't make all the money. Yeah, exactly. You know, we made more money than we've ever made in a history of making stupid amounts of money, but we could have made more. You're fired. Um, is brand loyalty, human decency, and integrity dead? Suzanne says it. Not fired, let go. Yes, or maybe the yeah. Uh, dee 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 dee. So, I think that's all I have to say about that. Moving on, Jump Force is a game. So essentially, Smash Brothers with your favorite anime characters. Or maybe you don't like any of these people, but it's a roster of 40 plus. I'm sure there's one in there you like. Um, and unless you like Sailor Moon, who's not in there, but I don't know if she's shown in Jump or not. Um, so all I really want to say about it is whoever Bandai Namco is hiring to cut their trailers, I'm sure this person is very sweet, but they need to hire someone else because they suck at their job. The trailers for this game are impressively bad. I mean, impressively bad. Just objectively bad trailers. The first trailer I saw was just a basic game overview, but it was cut so tight and so quick that only dorks like me could pick out what characters were in the game. I'm like, ooh, Ryo Saiba. And even if you're a big anime fan, you might have missed him because he's on screen for like 10 frames from the back. It's so weird. And then I saw like a 4 or 5 minute character trailer, and it started out poor, and then it got abysmal because it's like they cut about 40 seconds of trailer and then realized they had 40 more characters to go, and we're like, oh crap! Just get me any second and a half worth of footage. That's it's maybe 5 or 6 seconds of footage from any character doing any damn thing. Who cares? We just need them all in there. It's the worst. It makes the game inscrutable. It, I mean, Ryo Saiba is my favorite character in the game. He's from City Hunter. It's a great series. You should read it or watch it because it's probably easier to get the anime than it is to get the manga, which I don't think they translated the whole thing. Um, uh, Cyber Rio is in there for like 5 seconds from the back. To be fair, it's a 3D fighting game, so I think as a player, most of the view is going to be from behind your character. But you know, for a character trailer, move the camera, give it from the other perspective so you can see what's going on. It's like, oh, Cyber's doing this super cool thing. Um, it's just really bad. I'm sure the game's fine, but good lord, is it really bad trailers. Um, let's see, what are we talking about? Well, Dragon Ball Xenoverse is looks like a much more aesthetically attractive game. This one's a little. I'm not, the characters are recognizable, but it's not, to me anyway, an appealing art style. It's a little too. Hmm. Not sure exactly how to describe it. Slightly too dark, slightly too plasticky in the characters' skin tones. Um, yeah, I don't really care for it. Do 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 do. Pardon me. Let's see. That's why you don't pre-order games. um, so yeah, they just cut better trailers. I mean, you have Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho and uh, the younger Togoro. Um, those are cool characters. Let's, show them off. Show them in a good light. When they do the Smash Brothers trailer, you get a good look at each character doing something super cool. And this one, it's like it's really bad. It's really bad. What else? So I saw there was some dude who got suspended from Twitch for using a homophobic slur again. And then he was like, "Oh yeah? Well, I'm quitting Twitch then." And everyone was like, "Okay. I mean, if you can't stop using homophobic slurs, I guess, sure." Then he chilled out and came back and said, "Okay, yeah, I shouldn't talk like that. Sorry." So, hope that sticks. Um, that's all I have to say about that story. Stop using homophobic slurs. Period. There's lots of lovely curses you can use. Don't use slurs. The nice thing about the English language is you can get very creative in your swears. You know, just, just, I mean, maybe it's hard to think on your feet, but write some down beforehand. And then if some camping dipstick grinds your goat, you can say, "Well, darn it, you," and you grab your list and you read out something that's not racist or homophobic, and then you feel better, and everyone has a good laugh at your witty insult, and you don't get suspended from Twitch for being a jerk. So, so there. Um, Suzanne said, "If you can't Twitch nice, you can't Twitch at all." So, did I see what Atlas did with the remake of Catherine? I didn't realize it was a remake, but no. I think it's called Full Body, and I think they added a character. I don't know if it's like, because I haven't played the game, but I think it's like dude is like it's a puzzle game slash dating sim, and he's trying to choose between two different Catherines, like Catherine with a C and Catherine with a K. So maybe did they add just a new buddy at the bar, or did they add a third Catherine with a I, I don't know, an X? What else makes a "k" sound? Um, there you go, Jack. Hey, Andrew, you're a snoodling toe licker. That's a good one. You see, and then you may make that camper go, "Snoodling toe licker." And while they're distracted because they're pondering the brilliance of your insult, you can go and knife them, or whatever game you're playing. It's like, "Ah, you camping, you unmitigated pond scum, sir." See, that's better than throwing out slurs. Oh, new ending. Okay. They oh, Matthew, sorry, I missed one of his things. They doubled down on homophobic themes in a new ending. I did not hear that. That's certainly a shame. I've never been oh, anti-trans? Oh, well, that's also very unfortunate. I hope that's mistaken, in fact. Um, I unfortunately can't comment because I know nothing about it. It's a game that I've heard high praise about, but I've never really been that interested in for two major reasons. One, the main gameplay, the puzzle gameplay, does it? I mean, it looks fine, but it doesn't really interest me that much. I mean, I like the visuals. I like the idea of a guy in his underwear holding a pillow and having sheep horns on his head for whatever reasons, trying to climb up a mountain while really horrific demon babies try to crawl up the mountain behind him and get him. That's visually very interesting, but the actual mechanics of the gameplay never really appealed to me. And the story of the game, from what I saw, makes the guy look like just a complete loser jerk who I don't want to play as. The guy in the game, Dave, or whatever his name is, seems to be just a wholesome, fulsomely loathsome schmuck. And I'm like, he looks like the kind of guy who I would just be seriously annoyed by, like genuinely annoyed by throughout the game. So I've been very hesitant about that game. So I am very disappointed to hear that there might be some transphobic themes in the game, and to have transphobic themes to be added. Oh, I'm guessing that the third character might be a trans woman. Is that what it would be? Hmm. I mean, that's great, inclusion good, but if yeah, depending on what they do with it, yeah, that could be bad. But I'll reserve judgment until I see or hear what Atlas actually did with that game. So, all right, let's see. Okay, one more thing before we get to the Nintendo Direct. I saw this on my YouTube recommends feed, and I was just like, what? It's a video from Watch Mojo called Chucky versus Annabelle, the ultimate horror movie doll. And I was sitting there, I was like, Chucky versus Annabelle? Really? And I mused about it on Twitter. I'm like, that's like saying Mario versus Arrow the Acrobat, the ultimate video game mascot. I mean, nothing wrong with Arrow the Acrobat or Annabelle. I heard one of the two movies was all right, but what? I mean, it's like Freddy Krueger versus that the killer from Valentine's Day. Or the Valentine's Day Massacre. What the hell is actually the name of that film? Um, I think Valentine's Massacre, Valentine's Day Massacre, something. Be like, what? This? It's just a weird comparison. I actually did watch the video. It's fine. Chucky wins as he should. I mean, they have like four or five requirements, and they, you know, who wins each category, and whoever wins most categories wins. Okay, sure, whatever. I just thought it was a really odd matchup. I mean, it's like Mike Tyson versus Andrew. What? Why? I mean, it's just weird. I mean, it might be an interesting match, but it's certainly an odd matchup. So, think real hard. Name another creepy doll than those two. It's slim pickings in that category. I don't think you have to name another killer doll, but I mean, I could name a few, like the any of the demonic toys. Although that would be an odd matchup too. Again, demonic toys had like I think one movie and then a crossover with Doll Man. I still like Demonic Toys. It's pretty good. There's another Killer Doll movie that I remember the box art, and I don't think Dolly Dearest, I think. It has a doll holding its eyes out. I don't think I ever even saw that movie. But the Puppet Master toys, there's like 8 or so of those films. Those characters are a lot more long running and iconic, especially when one of your categories is body count. I mean, if you're going Chucky and Blade from Puppet Master, I think that's a better comparison if you want to do the killer doll thing. You both have iconic characters that have been around for decades in multiple movies who've racked up a hell of a body count. Rather than Chucky and Annabelle, who's a spinoff of a different movie, and the spinoff got a sequel, which was a prequel. It, and they're different types of horror movies. The Annabelle films I think they're PG-13. Just spooky stories. Uh, Chucky, well, the tone has changed drastically film to film with that series, but I mean, those are R-rated slasher films. So, Arcade Gannon is probably the best portrayal of a gay character in a video game. I don't know what Arcade Gannon is. So, um, Suzanne says the one from Twilight series. Jack says, why can't game companies make good LGBT characters? Uh, some of them do, and some of them don't. Likely because it's, I think, I mean, we're just talking a very broad brush. I mean, I'm not citing anyone specifically, but I think some things that might contribute to a poorly written LGBT character is if no one on the creative team is LGBT. Let me give a comparison as an example. Have you ever watched a movie about high school kids that was so obviously written by people in their 40s? It comes off as inauthentic, right? It's like, oh my God, oh, you're so out of touch. You have no idea what you're talking about or how kids talk or what they're really, or how they act or what they're interested in. I think a lot of the same problems can happen if, a creative team of only straight people try, and there's nothing wrong with trying, to write LGBT characters. They're writing from only their own perspective, and I think that can contribute to why they can often get things wrong, and you end up with a game that ends up being problematic in certain aspects, but while we can still appreciate the attempt in the first place, because hey, at least you're trying. If you make a good faith effort and fail, I think that's better than not trying in the first place. I mean, especially if the goal is something valuable, like diversity and inclusion and all that groovy stuff. So, I think it's getting better. I mean, if you look at gay characters back in the 90s, they were jokes, right? The gay character was the comic foil. Uh, it's getting a lot more realistic and nuanced than that these days. So it's moving in the right direction, not as quickly as we would like, but it's never going to be perfect, unfortunately, because we're humans and we kind of broadly suck in a lot of ways. But I don't think I wouldn't broad brush the entire spectrum of LGBT characters in modern video games as all bad or all problematic. I think there have been several that have done very, very well. And I think they will, continue to do so and continue to do it better. The more they practice, and the more creative teams uh, diversify themselves to get more life experiences and more perspectives integrated into that creative experience. I think we're going to see that expressed in and reflected in the end product more and more and more as we go along. So, um, although from what Matthew's saying, Atlas didn't do that. Maybe we'll see. I don't want to hold Atlas's feet to the fire until I find out exactly what it did in this case. Um, but we'll see. Did you Jack Jack got DDoSed? What? Oh, your internet just bleeped out. Well, I said something like super brilliant. I mean, they're going to write papers on this, so later you're going to want to go back and watch it. So Jordan says, always wanted to see Freddy versus Pennywise. Yeah, that's the difference being that Pennywise is in one story, Freddy's in several sequels, but those are interesting monsters to pit against each other, because they do have very similar styles in that they like to just mess with you before they finally kill you. And they also have somewhat similar powers in that Pennywise can alter reality much in the same way that Freddy can alter the dream world. So that's good. That's a good point, Jordan. Almost said Justin for some reason. Um, let's see. Jack says, yeah, they mostly end up with the LGBT character that doesn't have a personality besides being LGBT. Yeah, that can be a problem, not just with LGBT characters, but also people of color and women. I mean, how many times have you seen a show uh, where you have look at Mission Impossible, one of my favorite TV shows. Um, and I made this observation in a video years ago, but you had Jim Phelps, uh, if you're from season 2 on anyway, and he, Peter Graves, Jim Phelps' character, he was the planner, the guy who got the team together and who made the plan. He's the leader, right? Okay. You have Barney, who is the technology expert. You have Willie, who's the strong man. You have Roland Hand, who's the master of disguise. Later, you'd have Paris, Leonard Nimoy's character, who served pretty much the same function. And then you had Cinnamon, who was the girl, right? I mean, that was her character. She was just the girl, you know? So you're right. A lot of times when creative teams try to be inclusive, let me tweak how I said that. Even when a creative team can try to be inclusive, a lot of times they will put forth a LGBT or woman or person of color whose sole defining character trait is being LGBT or being a woman or being a person of color, as if that's a character trait in and of itself, right? And that I think a lot of times is just a fundal fundamental misunderstanding of people are people. you know um your skin color or your gender or your sexuality is a part of who you are. It's not who you are, right? um Unless you are super boring. I mean, think about it. Imagine a person who was just gay, had like no defining characteristics other than their sexuality. What a dull person, right? And that's how you get a boring, stupid character. Because you have to. Well, what does this gay character do in their life outside of whatever story we've written them into? You know, they have dreams, they have passions. Do they have a job? Do they play video games? Do they sing in a barbershop quartet? You know? Um, so this is, again, Andrew speaking on things he knows nothing about. So, Arcade Gannon is a character from Fallout New Vegas. Oh, okay. When you said arcade, I was thinking of like a little literal video arcade. Uh-oh, my screen just froze. Oh, and it's back. Let me check on the feed real quick. Yeah, still going. Yeah, I have not played the Fall. I never really got into Fallout. A little unfair because I played the first Fallout and went, nah, and then never got into any of the other games, which are really totally different. Uh, but there you go. Let's see, what are we doing in here? Just waiting for the day everyone is a genderless, gray-faced, and dressed in all gray dystopian future. Well, that sounds boring. Nobody wants that. Why would that reminds me of, years ago when every video game was like gray and brown. Like, we're gonna be super serious now. Everything's gray. Everything's the color of concrete because it's realistic. Yeah. Phases, man. Not necessarily a bad thing, but some phases are bad. So, Suzanne says, unless they are expressively straight, how do you know they aren't gay? You don't. Sexuality is not something you can tell by looking at someone. So, unless you know who a person is dating, then you don't know. I mean, for example, like someone asked, I was having a discussion with someone about something, or like, oh yeah, well, how many gay people do you know, Andrew? I'm like, I don't know. I don't talk to people about their love lives, so odds are several, but I don't know because I don't talk about anyone's personal lives because I don't care, and that may sound you know hoity-toity. It's like I'm not interested in your personal life. Thank you very much. It's just not an interest of mine. I'll talk to people about video games and movies and music and all that kind of stuff, but you know who, who they're going out with after work, I don't care. It's just never been an interest of mine. So I have no idea what anyone's sexuality is. Let's see. Wait till we see a lesbian trans Muslim woman in a wheelchair. There you go. Ryder is a good character. You know what? We need a game with someone in a wheelchair. Although, oh, who, Wolfenstein 2. I think is it the first one or the second one where, what's his face? Larry, the main character guy, um, starts out in a wheelchair, but then he gets power armor. So I think it's the second game. That's funny, but yeah, differently abled people. We have plenty. We have hundreds and thousands of able-bodied video game characters. So get some differently abled video game characters. That's great. We had the Quiet Man a couple of months ago, which was about a deaf guy, and I was super excited for that because I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of possibility you can do with a protagonist who can't hear. And that game was terrible. I appreciate the attempt, but oh my god. Wow, was that an ill-advised game? I hope they try again because there's really a lot of cool possibilities. But oh well. I mean, some attempts are just gonna suck. Doesn't make it worth doing, does it? Doesn't mean. I mean, it's kind of like Matthew has often said. He's like, Matthew's. Sorry to put you on the spot, Matthew, but Matthew's often kind of come across as, I just wish Hollywood would stop trying to make anime movies because I don't believe they will ever do it right. Um, and I get the sentiment. It's like, look, you failed at this repeatedly for decades. Just stop. you know, you're hurting me inside. Please stop. My opinion has always been, just do it well for crying out loud. Like someday, odds are we're gonna get a super good video. I mean, we have some really genuinely great comic book movies now. Um, there are a lot of video game movies I like. I don't know if we have any genuinely great video game movies. Um, I mean, Last Starfighter is good, but movies based on an actual video game. Detective Pikachu looks pretty cool though. And Battle Angel Elite. Are they calling it Alita Battle Angel? I keep getting that backwards, right? From what I hear, it's actually a lot of fun. So maybe we've got a good anime movie. Who knew? I probably will see Lego tomorrow if I get up enough. Uh, da, 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 da. Look up Arcade Gannon. He's a well-written character. All right. Cry of Fear kind of does that. All right. Okay, yeah, we'll get to Nintendo Direct here. Let's see. Jack says you're only in a wheelchair at the beginning, though, right? And then you move into power armor. It wasn't a Quiet Man, like what I said. Yeah, it was an awful game. I mean, I really like the idea of a deaf character because I think we've actually had I think there were two games within the last couple of years that tried to do a blind character. I didn't play either of them, but certainly really interesting attempts. Um, do. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Nintendo Direct. So Super Mario Maker 2, which I had put a silly prediction on Twitter saying that Super Mario Maker 2 would be Super Mario Maker 3D, where it would be a maker game for 3D Mario games. So your types of styles would be 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey, and 3D World, I guess. No, it's not that. That'd be pretty cool. Probably pretty hard to do because there's a 3D map creator mode in one of the Nintendo Labo games, and it's pretty bad. So maybe it's just as well Nintendo didn't. But it's another 2D Mario game, and they've got actually they have Super Mario 3D World theme as one of the themes, and there's still no Super 2 though. Kind of understandable because the mechanics, the game is mechanically super different because it was literally originally a different game. Um, but I don't know. I mean, even if they could at least have the look, you know, even if you can't pluck turnips out of the ground and throw them, even if you didn't have any of the mechanics from Super 2, it would be nice to just have that palette available. But we've got slopes, and I love the fact that Nintendo started out. It's like, we hear you, fans. We're listening. You wanted slopes? You got slopes. Yep. You've got 45 degrees and you've got 22 and a half degrees. That's all you get. You don't get to adjust the slopes. No, you get two slopes. It's better than one slope, which is better than none slopes. I don't know this for sure, but looking at the menu that scrolled by, there was a 45 degree and what looked like a 22 and a half. Um, it looks like you can pick between flat 22 and a half and 45. We'll take what we can get. It looks fine. I'm not interested because if I'm paying $60 for a game, which I never do, but if I did, I insist that you make the game, not me. You see, if I have to make my own levels, you should pay me. That's the way I look at it. I've never been into build your own fun kind of games. I mean, I like games that can be viewed as work, like, farming sims. I played Rune Factory Frontier, which actually will come up later in the direct, and enjoyed that well enough. It's like, dude, you're tilling the field. Why would you want to do that in a game? It can be fun. Um, so yeah, what's interesting about the game is I guess you would have to. Well, looking at the way they laid out the menu, it looks like you can play it. You can make levels and um, play them on the TV. You don't have to undock it to use the touchscreen to make the level and then redock it to play it on the TV. You could do the whole thing on the TV or the whole thing on the Switch handheld itself. And that's my impression just from the way the menus are set up because it looks like you're tabbing between the menus and then pushing a direction on the thumbstick to select rather than tapping things out of like a gridded menu. Don't know if the menus will change based on whether the system's docked or not. It also looks like just based on the way they're advertising it with Mario and Luigi and the two, looks like it's going to be a two-player thing. So I don't know if they'll like let two people build a level at the same time, or one player will build a level while the other one plays around in it. Kind of like what they did with New Super Mario Brothers U, where the person with the tablet could tap on the tablet to add blocks as people are running around. Um, Maybe you could do that online. Who knows? Probably not. But it looks like you've got some two-player functionality in there. Jordan wants Legend of Zelda Maker or Metroid Maker. Uh, do I think farmers play office job simulators? Yeah, maybe. What's the one with the narrator? This is a story of a man named Frederick. What is the name of that game that I'm the only person who didn't like? Something experiment. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Stanley Parable. Thank you. Jeez, I'm terrible at this, and I call myself a gamer. I thought that game sucked. It was so boring. It's like 10 minutes long. I know there's multiple endings, but or ways you could play it, but you don't do anything in the game. Talk about a walking simulator. Anyway, that's not important. Um, so next we have Marvel Alliance 3, The Black Order. Eh, I don't know. I never played the first two, so I don't really know anything about the game. I like superheroes, but I'm I'm sure it's fine. Box Boy plus Box Girl, which is the box with a bow on its head. I'm glad we still use that trope. Stick a bow on it. It's a girl. um, it's a puzzle game. I've heard the first two are really great. I've never played it. I'm sure it's fine. What's next? Smash Brothers Ultimate updates. It always weirds me out when companies announce an update. We're gonna have the 3.0 update. Like that in and of itself is interesting or exciting. Like seeing the version number increment from 2.0 to 3.0 is what people are excited about. It's like, oh man, come to my house. Look, it says 3.0. Oh, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the version number. What's in the new version? Probably Joker, but you can't just, we're going to do an update. And it, uh, maybe that's just me. I don't know. I find that really dumb. Jordan says, well, if you don't put a bow on it, the alternative is putting boobs on the box. That would actually be really funny. Especially if they had jiggle physics. A box with boobs on the front just bounces along, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that'd be good. I don't know. You be creative. If you name the second box Jennifer, that's a feminine name. You know, box boy is a white box with a black outline. So make box girl just gray or green or just it's just there's nothing inherently wrong with it because people do wear bows in their hair. It's fine. It's just lazy, you know? I mean, back in the days of Pac-Man, I mean, I get it because we didn't really have graphics display technologies and you couldn't define features. You didn't have enough fidelity to really define masculine versus feminine features. And even in a modern game, when your character is just a box, what do? You get creative, man. I mean, surely we can come up with something better than stick a bow on it. It's what we've been doing since the 80s. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just we see that all the time. Come up with something new. Let's see. Box Boy should have a package. Damn right. And you have to be careful of how you land, so you don't accidentally land on your box boy balls. I should be a game designer. Let's see. So Smasher Brothers. We saw a Joker from like the back. It's like I know Persona 5 isn't on the Switch yet, but we all know what Joker looks like. You don't have to. He's gonna look like Joker from Persona 5. It's it's gonna. You can just show what he looks like. You don't need to hide. It's like hiding Godzilla from a Godzilla movie or Chucky from a Chucky movie. There's literally no reason to do that. There's actually a better reason to do it for the new Chucky or the 98 Godzilla because it's like, oh, it's a redesign. What's it going to look like? Joker's going to look like Joker. So I don't I see no point to doing it that way. Whatever's. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, getting some DLC levels for the Switch. If you are a fan who's been supporting Nintendo since forever, and you bought the game on the Wii U, you can go jump in a lake. You want those new levels? Buy the game again on Switch, loser. No. Sure would be nice if Wii U owners would get, there's DLC on the Wii U. You can do it. I know the game wasn't originally built for it, but you could release them as standalone or something. You just have to care enough. Now, granted, it's a business thing. There's probably only me and 3 other people who care, but still, it bothers me when they do that. It's like, oh, the people who actually supported us for the Wii U, we don't care about them. Of course, I guess it serves me right because I'm doing very little to support Nintendo through the Switch, so turnabout's fair play. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night may come out someday, maybe even this year. It's been in development for 4 years, which actually isn't unheard of for a game, but since it was originally a Kickstarter, when you first hear about a game, it's typically well into development. So from the gamer perspective, most games only take a year or two. No, games usually take 3 or 4 years, from start to finish. And since we've known about what is it called? Bloodstained Ritual of the Ninth since the beginning, it seems like it's been forever. When is Nintendo going to deny the existence of the Wii U like they do with the Virtual Boy? With the rumors of Switch VR floating around, I think we're going to see Virtual Boy remakes or something. You'll have a Labo project to build like a Virtual Boy-esque head thing. I don't, if you actually use this, pardon me, if you use the Switch as a VR glasses thing, the resolution is so low that you probably aren't going to be able to get away with much more than updated versions of Virtual Boy games. So we'll see. Jordan says I'm a pervy X-rated game designer. I should tell you about when the Wii first came out, and I saw the motion controller remote. My first thought was circle jerk online. It's online competitive thing. It'd be great. Use your imagination. Let's see. Dragon Quest Builders 2. I played the demo for the first one. I didn't like it. So don't really care about the second one, even though I'm a big Dragon Quest fan. Dragon Quest 11 S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, almost said exclusive. Definitive Edition. So it's got more stuff in it, even though it looks markedly worse. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the Nintendo Direct because I was looking at ports. There's the Dragon Quest 11 and several other games that this game is coming to the Switch. The game that you've already played in a better form on a different console years ago. Haha! But it's portable now, so you care. Man, games look like garbage on the Switch. Or maybe I just had a bad stream because wow, did Dragon Quest 11 look bad? So did Dead by Daylight, and Hellblade, and Mortal Kombat 11. Oh, I mean, I know they're not going to look as good as they'd look on the PS4 and Xbox, whatever, but ooh, oh, those look bad. Again, maybe it was just my stream, but I was like, oh, Oh, they look bad. They look so bad. Uh, how did Nintendo expect people to think of the phallic nature of the Wii? The thing even came with a condom. Yes, it did. Wait, did it actually come with the condom, or is that sold separately? I know it came with the strap, but the actual padded, uh, silicone sheath for it, was that in the original packaging? I honestly don't remember. Dragon Quest looked fine to you? Okay, it might have just been the stream, but all of the ports from other systems that when I watched the stream, I was like, "Ooh, that looks surprising." Now I knew it was going to look worse, but I didn't think it'd be that much worse. Came with okay, so yeah, so Dragon Quest 11. Do we think the PS4 will get the extra goodies? Maybe, maybe not. Uh, Disney Tsum Tsum Festival. I have no idea what that is. Even after watching the trailer, I wasn't totally sure. But it doesn't look like it's for me, so. Hmm. Starlink, don't care. More Star Fox stuff for Starlink. Still don't care because I don't like toys to life games. Although I thought Starlink was going to crash and burn, and it's not lighting the world on fire or anything, but it didn't crash and burn, so yeah, good job. Let's see. Rune Factory 4 special. All right. I liked Rune Factory Frontier well enough, but I didn't like the dungeon crawling aspect of it. I never finished the game because I really couldn't be bothered to do the dungeons. The farming stuff and the social sim life stuff was fine, but the dungeon crawling I didn't think worked for that game. Rune Factory 5 is in development. Yeah, sure. I'll keep an eye on it, see what they do with it. Uh, Oninaki, which is another, I think, Square Enix game from or Tokyo RPG Factory. I think the I Am Setsuna and the not Lost Oasis, some other game that I played a demo for and it was terrible. Interesting premise. You have dead people, ghosts that you try to save, and you collect them and use them in battle. Yeah, could be cool. Uh, the art style wasn't really doing it for me. It looked a little didn't really seem to have its own identity as far as that aesthetics goes. Lost Sphere. Thank you, Chaos. Yeah, that's what it was. Let's see. Yoshi's Crafted World. I downloaded the demo for it, and I haven't played it, but I look forward to it because it looks cute. So hopefully it's fun. Fire Emblem Three Houses. They've got feet, so that's good. Remember Fire Emblem Awakening, I think it was, where the characters didn't have feet? Like, literally did not have feet. Their legs stopped at the ankle. Like, they weren't. It wasn't. The first time I saw trailers for that game, I was like, did they somehow screw up the Y position of the characters and they're just, like, stuck in the floor a little bit? No. No. They just don't have feet, which was weird. Because it's like, were you saving rendering power? Did not drawing the feet really make enough of a difference to improve the frame rate or something? That was so weird. I think the weirder part was fan, Uber Fire Emblem fans like denying reality and claiming that they did have feet when they clearly didn't at all. I mean, they did in the pre-rendered scenes and the official artwork, but the in-game 3D character models literally do not have feet. An objective, observable fact that I saw some fans like, no, they do. Pointing to circle. Here's where the feet should be. They're not there. Which made him look really awkward, like they had really long arms. So it gave him kind of a orangutan look. Um, to be fair, Awakening was a 3DS game. It was, but it's still kind of odd that they. I mean, they must have just barely had memory issues or were dropping frames. It's like, we only need to drop like 10 polygons and it'll be fine. Off with the feet. So weird. Um uh was Fates also 3DS? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And yeah, it was because Fate it had the two versions and they had feet. So maybe it was a bug, maybe it was bad coding or something that they didn't have time to go back and fix. Like feet were literally causing the game to crash, and they had to remove the feet. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't care about Fire Emblem at all, which is unfair because I've never played it. I mean, I played the mobile game, and it's genuinely, objectively, inarguably terrible. Um, but some people seem to like spending money on it, so good on them. All Fire Emblem games are 3DS. Well, except the ones that aren't. But I mean, of that generation, yeah, there weren't any Fire Emblem games on the Wii U, I don't think. Um, anyway, I don't care about Fire Emblem, but hopefully the game's good. Tetris 99, we talked a little bit about. Battle Royale Tetris looks cool. I downloaded it, and then I thought, you know what, it probably requires the Nintendo Online service to actually play. In which case, Nintendo should let you know that before you bother downloading it onto the minuscule space on the hard drive. Um, Dead by Daylight, a game that's been out for a long time. So if the Switch is your only system or you really, really want to play things portably, there you go. Um, Deltarune Chapter 1. So I guess the next game from what's the name of that game? Undertale, which I still haven't played, but I should. Uh, I downloaded that too. Check that out, see what it is. Yeah, you're right. Tetris 99 doesn't take up too much space, but seriously, if I can't play it, let me know beforehand. Don't waste my time. And if it does say that on the screen somewhere, then shame on me. um, Demon X Machina. I have the demo for that. I'm really interested in trying it out. It's got mechs. It's got an interesting color palette, very, very orange and yellow. Um, and the music that was playing during the trailer wasn't ear-bleedingly offensive this time. So I'm interested in checking it out because I love the name. So I'm interested in checking it out, see how it plays. Let's see, Grid Autosport. Wow, I don't even remember that from the from the direct. Let me look real quick and see what the heck that is. I think it's no, no, no. Mute. There we go. Yeah, car racing game. No wonder. I don't care. Car racing is boring to me. Uh, we're almost done. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, a game I actually haven't played yet and would like to. They should have called the demo Ex Machina. They totally should have. Chaos. That's genius. That would be great. So Hellblade's coming to the Switch, which is kind of interesting because that's Ninja Theory, but Ninja Theory before Microsoft bought them. So I guess Microsoft didn't pick up their previous IP. I guess Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, but didn't. But Ninja Theory still owns its IP up to that point. Interesting. Um, Do I think the Switch would offer anything that would warrant a decent Mario Paint sequel? Um, you'd need a mouse, I think, but no. I don't know. I don't know. Mario Maker's fine. Just add add a music mode in it and you know a tile tool and a sprite tool and a fly swatting mini game, and then you just call it Mario Paint 2. Could it work without a mouse? I suppose, but would you want it to? Final Fantasy 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Mortal Kombat 11, Unraveled 2, which also looked terrible, at least on my stream, and Assassin's Creed 3 Master. Assassin's Creed 3 Master. Yeah, they should call it that, the 3 Master. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, even though it looks worse than it did originally. Again, at least on the stream. Maybe I just saw a bad stream. But yeah, hey, Mortal Kombat 11. So we're no idea if it's coming out at the same time as it does on other consoles, platforms, but hopefully it will. Scotty says Mario Maker is Mario Paint 2. In a way, yeah. Do we need a non-existent blood code for the Mortal Kombat Switch edition? Hope not. I think Nintendo's long past that, though. Okay, Final Fantasy VII, Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. Final Fantasy IX all got launch dates. I think Final Fantasy IX launched that day and 7 comes out later. Probably a good choice because 7's the more popular one and will overshadow everything else. So, Astral Chain. That's my game of the direct. Most interesting to me. It's got an interesting look, and it's got a pedigree behind it that I trust. So I'm interested. I don't know how that game plays. It was really hard to tell from the gameplay trailer, but I trust Platinum to make something fun. So very interested to learn more about that one. Nintendo should make smutty visual novels, says Jack. Yes, yes, they should. I've said this for a long time. I want to see Nintendo do something adult, not necessarily pornographic adult, just mature adult. Although they did have one M-rated Wii U game in Japan that just looked bad. I forget what it's called, but it didn't look very good. Oh, hey, look, there's a weight and furniture sliders on my floor and a off-brand endo board. So I didn't clean up after working out, apparently. Actually, I usually have them sitting over in that corner, so that's where they sit. Although most of my weights are in the other room. Well, Scotty says Nintendo should do a porno. Well, I do know that there have been Nintendo pornos where actors will dress up as the Mario and Peach and just do the porn thing. So there, even if Nintendo never gets around to it, at least the fans have that niche filled. And then remake of Link's Awakening, which, I mean, if you've never played Link's Awakening, this is a good way to do it. Looks exactly the same. I mean, let me let me clarify that. Looks exactly the same as far as layout goes. I mean, it looks like just a complete visual overhaul rather than an actual remake of the game. Much like actually, I can't really think of a good example. I was going to say like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, but those are more, they just up the resolution. Even the 3DS Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, it's the same game. They redid a lot of the models and textures, but yeah, this is just 3D models, and the camera moves differently. Instead of panning block to block, it's smoothly transitions across the entire scene. It looks neat. I'm not trying to downplay it. It looks neat. Link's Awakening is a great game. So this is going to be great. I like that Nintendo it keeps coming up with completely new visual styles for Zelda all the time. That this one looks like almost Playmobil esque, um, which is interesting. Uh, so yeah, will I get it? I have the original, so probably not, unless there's something significantly different about this. Although, if you the visuals, the presentation is significantly different. If that's enough for you, great. You know, not trying to downplay that at all. That's often not enough for me, though. Um, for example, like I'm looking to get the Resident Evil 2 remake. If it was exactly the same game, just with the modern visuals, I wouldn't be as interested in it. But since it's completely remade, uh, yeah, that thing looks fun. And that's the Game Boy only had two buttons. Yeah, I think there's going to be. Someone was saying something like, "Oh my God, Link is holding a shield and a sword at the same time." I'm like, couldn't you do that? I know there's a lot of menu switching in that game because, as Matthew pointed out, there's only two buttons. But so I mean, with more buttons, they may have streamlined the interface or something, so you don't constantly have to go back into the menu to equip different things. You've got hotkeys for all the various, hook shot and boomerang or whatever's in that particular game. Um, so 35, 36 minute podcast, Nintendo Direct, a lot of interesting stuff. And they didn't even get to Luigi's Mansion 3 or Bayonetta 3. Oh, they did mention Bayonetta 3. They said, we're still working on it. Here's Chain, Astral Chain. Sorry. Think that's deliberate, play on Astral Plane, Astral Chain. While they were talking about that, because the Platinum developer, they're like, yeah, we're still working on Bayonetta 3. Don't worry about it. We didn't restart from scratch like we did Metroid Prime 4. Still working on it. We'll show it later. But nothing on Luigi's Mansion 3, nothing on Pokemon, nothing on Animal Crossing. All of which are expected out, not Bayonetta 3, but all the others are expected out this year. Methinks something's gonna slip, right? I mean, I think Pokemon is definitely a lock for the fall. September or October, somewhere on there. Um, I could easily, Animal Crossing feels like a late spring, summer game, even though we haven't seen anything of it. That feels like a E3 blowout kind of game, and then release for the summer kind of thing. Um, Luigi's Mansion maybe like November, December, but it my gut tells me it's probably going to slip into next year. So yeah, maybe February or March of next year. Uh, really hard to say, but it's you look at Nintendo's history and you're like, yeah, you're probably not releasing that many major games inside a year. But there's a porno called Super Hornio Bros. They could have done better than that. Come on, with Ron Jeremy, Nintendo sued and got the rights to stop distribution. Okay. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, Metroid Samus Returns. Yeah, that was a yeah, exactly. Metroid Samus Returns was a remake of the original game, but it played very differently from the original. So that was something, if it didn't lock content behind Amiibo, I would have actually been really interested in playing. So I'll be interested to see if Link's Awakening does something similar. Nintendo has a killer year. My fall release prediction is Animal Crossing in October, Pokemon in November, Link's Awakening in December. Hmm. That, hmm. That's that's a packed fall. um so I'm guessing, since I don't see Luigi's Mansion there, you're thinking Luigi Mansion 3 is probably going to get pushed out into 2020 somewhere. Pokemon is always November. Is it? Didn't Sun and Moon come out a little earlier than that? I don't know. Da, 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 da. Jack thinks the E3 is going to suck. Well, Sony's not going to be there, but they'll probably still do their own show somewhere else. Kind of like what isn't it EA who was like doing their own EA experience just like down the street or something like that. How much you want? Jordan says, "How much you want to bet Nintendo makes a new F-Zero game 50 years from now when that core audience is either dead or has dementia or arthritis?" Hey, gang, we finally made F-Zero. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't grab a controller anymore because my arthritis has curled my hands into little balls. So maybe if you'd made it when I was younger, like in my 60s or something, that would have helped, Nintendo. Does Emma and Microsoft will be there? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much longer, if the bottom's going to fall out of E3 at some point, because it's been looking like it's been slowly heading in that direction for a couple of years now, with companies saying, you know what, we just don't see the point of E3 anymore. I mean, even Nintendo's like, we're not going to bother with the whole big stage presentation. We'll just do our own direct and have a series of podcasts, and we'll do it at the show since we're there, but we don't really need to. And it's true. There's really no need to do that. And in fact, one could argue that it would be better if you didn't, because you're all eating each other's lunches. You know, really good games sometimes get buried under announcements from larger publishers. So I want a game that says Jack that lets me go crazy with character customization. I think there are several games that have some pretty in-depth character customization, so you should be able to find one. Interesting thread on somewhere. So Matthew says, should Nintendo buy Platinum Games? Hmm. No. And I only say that because there doesn't seem to be really any reason to do that for either. They seem to have I'm not sure how the relationship would be benefited by purchasing the company and making it first party. Um, I mean, I wouldn't object to it. I think Nintendo's wouldn't do an EA. I mean, if Nintendo purchased Platinum, I wouldn't be afraid of Platinum being shuttered in 5 years. If things didn't work out, they'd probably buy their stocks back and go their separate ways. But Platinum seems to be fine just uh, doing it. I mean, it's doing a lot of stuff for Nintendo now, and they seem to have a pretty great working relationship as it is. So, I mean, unless Nintendo was offering them a ton of money, I don't know why they would, because they're already getting a lot of great content and a lot of great exclusive content. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? Um, Jack says, I don't, referring to a character creator, I don't want to play Handsome Chad. I want to play Deformed Goblin. Uh, there are, you can make some really weird looking characters in a lot of character creators. So um, I think there are games that would uh, sate that need. Chaos says Nintendo should. Um, Jordan says, I want to make a game that had an extensive character creator that takes a good while to design your character. Then in the first cutscene, that character dies. Oh, you mean like similar? Well, not exactly like, but similar to what Metal Gear Solid 5 does, where you could spend 2 hours on a character creator that doesn't matter because you're just going to be Snake. it Spoilers, it kind of does matter a little bit, but it's still a waste of damn time. Matthew says Platinum's nearly a second party at this point anyway. True, which is why I don't know. But then again, I'm also the kind of guy who's like, we both live together, we're both happy. Is there really a point to getting married? I live alone. If anyone was wondering, but that would kind of be my perspective, and I guess there is just for tax benefits and stuff. But so maybe there would be good legal, economic reasons for them to tie the knot and make it official. But I don't. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I don't know what the value for either company would be. Um, but I certainly wouldn't mind. I think they work well together. Uh, Chaos says Nintendo needs a few more developers in their stable, and Kamiya said he would like to be a Nintendo second party. Oh, all right. Um, Nier did save Platinum Games. Arguably, I don't know what their financial situation is, but while Platinum's been pumping out awesome games for a long, long time, uh, and critically acclaimed games that people who play them really really like. You're right. They Nier was Automata anyway was the first big hit. Not just a game that critics and those who got around to actually playing it really loved, but actually sold well too. Um, and I was really happy to see that because Platinum deserves success because they make really genuinely great games. Um, that don't always get the love they deserve. I mean, even a game, a lot of their games are looked back upon fondly, but I mean, it's almost like the Metroid series in some ways. Everyone loves Metroid, even though when you look at the numbers, not that many people actually play Metroid. You know, I mean, the games do well, but they're not like selling 6 million units apiece, right? They do okay, but for such a storied and revered IP, you would think that these would be multi-million seller games, and they're just not. There's no justice in the world. It's bound to happen. When we going to see Mario versus Mickey, Disney versus Nintendo? When Disney absorbs Nintendo along with every other entertainment company in existence. Um, so, okay, I think that's enough for tonight. Hey, thanks everyone for keeping me company and being chatty, and um, it was a fun evening. I need to eat dinner and I don't know, probably turn in for the. I've got bags. I'm so tired. Um, but I'm probably not going to go to bed at a decent hour because I'm an idiot. I'm gonna eat dinner, then I'm gonna play Danganronpa 3, and I'm probably going to continue playing it until the wee small hours of the morning because it's one of those games where you're like, let me just do this one thing. You'll be like, someone's gonna get murdered. I just want to see what the murder is. Who's gonna get it? And then someone gets murdered, and you're like, okay, well let me just investigate the scene real quick, and just so I have the facts, I can mull it over tonight as I sleep and see if I can deduce who the culprit is. And then it's like, oh well, let's just get through the first part of the class trial, and then let's get all right. Let's see this through. It's 2 a.m, but we're already okay. And then that's what happens. I mean, it's a lot of games are like that for me. Even games that I'm not as fond of as some others, like Breath of the Wild. It's a game that I mean, especially one organized like Breath of the Wild, where you're sitting there and you do a thing, and you're like, okay, I need to go to Kakariko Village to deliver the thing to the person. So you get on your horse and you start riding to Kakariko Village. And then you're like, oh, well, there's an interesting rock. Let me go over there, and you pick up the rock and you find a Korok, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And you whistle for your horse, and it doesn't come because you walk too far away. So you run back to your horse, and you see something else, and you get over. And 5 hours have passed, and you haven't even got to Kakariko Village yet. And then you get to Kakariko Village, and you deliver the thing, and then you talk to a guy, and he's like, I'm missing my chickens. You're like, I can't leave this poor guy stranded. I got to help him find his chickens. I have a problem. So, uh, Otritsu says if you've got bags under your eyes, stop and sleep. Yeah, I do need to sleep because I've been working a lot. So, but it's like I'm so happy to actually have a weekend. I don't want to sleep through it. I want to actually enjoy it, play some video games and such. Um, oh, you're playing through Kingdom Hearts, Jordan says? All right. Jack says, unleash the inner gamer. Don't sleep. Drink Mountain Dew and rage. Yeah, I don't drink sugar. I actually like cola, but I'm one of this is water. I'm one of those really boring, healthy eating kind of people who um it just eats vegetables and protein-full meats and uh, I'm so boring. I mean, occasionally I'll, if they have pizza at work or something, I'll have it. If they, uh, are celebrating birthdays, I'll have a slice of cake. But I'm not much, and I love junk food. I really, really do. But I don't. Oh yeah, Chaos at Crackdown 3. Yeah, that came out suddenly. Did that surprise any? I mean, I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it was just me. But did we know that was coming out? Because I saw reviews and I'm like, oh, that came out? Oh, all right. Didn't even know. Jordan says, no, you can't sleep. You're a dancing monkey. You must do more podcasts and make the masses laugh. Laugh. Dance, monkey, dance. Yes. No, for serious, though. Okay, Chaos, you did. It was just me. Well, I hope it's great because, God, they've been working on that game for many, many years. So maybe I'll read a review of it and see if it turned out any good. So hey, that's the show for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. Uh, I did a Valentine's Day video. Uh, I hope you watch it. It's like less than a minute long. It's a really short, stupid joke, but I thought it was funny. So check it out. It's called "How to Save Money on Valentine's Day." So check that out. Andrew Eisen, Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube. You'll find my YouTube channel and at Andrew Eisen on Twitter, where I regale you with really, really dumb jokes, 280 characters at a time. So, and what do we pay you for, Jordan says, yeah. Uh, yes, you get what you pay for, and you don't pay me anything, and that's so I think I think the quality speaks for the pay. All right, I am out of here. You all have a lovely evening, and I'll see you back here next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.